Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to knit two-stitch cables using a cable needle. Two-stitch cables are where one stitch is passed over another stitch, and these can be abbreviated as C2F or C2B cables, or 1/1 LC or 1/1 RC respectively. C2F or 1/1 LC cables travel to the left, and C2B or 1/1 RC cables travel to the right. It's all down to which stitch passes over the other. As you can see, I've added a stitch marker on the front. This is just a handy reminder of which side we're on, because we'll always be doing the cables on the right side. Right, so for the first cable row, we're going to knit 7. And then we're going to do a C2F or cross to front cable. This can also be abbreviated as 1/1 LC, which stands for 1/1 left cross. Okay, so take your cable needle, which should be a similar diameter to your knitting needles, and use the short end to slip the first stitch purlwise, like so. And because this is a front or left cross, then you hold the cable needle at the front. If we held the first stitch at the back instead, then that would make a right cross. Then you need to knit a stitch, and then knit one off the cable needle. So slide the stitch to the end of the long side of the cable needle, and arrange the needles as you normally would to knit. And then just knit that stitch. And that's a C2F completed. And now I'm just knitting 4 stitches, and then I'll show you the C2B or cross to behind cable, which can also be abbreviated as 1/1 RC or 1/1 right cross. So now take your cable needle and use the short end to slip the first stitch purlwise. And leave this behind the needles. A very handy phrase to remember here is "I'll be right back," because if you want to make a right cross, then you need to hold the first stitch at the back. Then knit a stitch as normal, and then knit the stitch off the cable needle. So slide the stitch to the end of the long side of the cable needle, arrange the needles as you would to do a normal knit stitch, and just knit that stitch off the cable needle. This can be a little bit awkward. And that's one C2B cable completed. And then just knit to the end. And here you can see the cables we've created. One that travels to the left and one that travels to the right, both being 1 stitch wide. And now I'm going to show you that again. So I'm going to knit up to the same point in the knitting as before, and then I'm going to do a C2F. So I use the short end of the cable needle to slip a stitch purlwise and hold it at the front. Then I'll knit one as normal, and then knit the stitch off the cable needle. And that's another C2F completed. And then I knit 4 to get me to the same point in the knitting as I previously did a C2B. Then I use the short end of the cable needle to slip a stitch purlwise, and I hold this at the back. Then I knit 1, and then I knit the stitch off the cable needle. And that's another C2B completed. Remember, all you're really doing is swapping the position of 2 stitches. And then I just knit to the end. And that's it. That's how you do 2-stitch cables using a cable needle. You can see that the cables on the left are travelling to the right and the cables on the right are travelling to the left. I hope this was useful and thank you very much for watching.